Story 1. A few weeks ago, I, 35 male, found out via paternity test that both of my kids, 2 and 5, weren't biologically mine. It always had this nagging feeling whenever I looked at them that something was wrong. Then, a few weeks ago, someone made a comment about my daughter's cleft chin, and that led me to getting a paternity test. I'm still reeling from this shock, and I've been feeling constantly sick. My wife, 36 female, has been begging me to work things out. I have no clue what to do. Something has shifted in me, and I feel completely blank when I look at my children. My wife has been insistent that they're my children, despite the biology, and want to raise them together and be a family again. Our marriage had always been rocky, but this was a whole new level of pain. Yesterday, I broke down at work and confessed to a close buddy of mine. He was taken aback by the news, but he listened patiently and got angry on my behalf. He even offered me a place to stay, which I'm immensely grateful for. I moved into his basement yesterday evening. I didn't even want to go back home for a change of clothes. Since then, I haven't been able to bring myself to go back home. My friends, including the buddy I called, have been incredibly supportive. I've sought legal advice, but it seems that according to the law in our country, it won't matter whether I'm the biological father or not. I'll always be the legal father and will need to take financial responsibility anyway for the kids. So that's over 15 more years of my hard-earned money going to 2 kids who aren't even mine biologically. How is this even fair? I'm completely, utterly fricked. I know I sound like a colossal jerk, but I can't help it. Any advice is appreciated. Edit. The situation with my wife is complicated, to say the least. My buddy's girlfriend, who is close to my wife, feels that they should intervene and try to talk some sense into me. They went to see my wife after I left, and from what I've heard, it was an emotional scene with tears involved. I've made it clear to my wife I'll only communicate through my lawyer, and she knows my friends are in touch with me, but she doesn't know about my living arrangements. Update. I'm moving forward with the divorce. I've informed both sets of parents and they're all about near going insane. My parents are obviously extremely mad at my soon-to-be ex, and I hear violence was had. As for myself, I've completely detached myself from my ex and her kids. I feel numb inside, but on the exterior, I'm still functioning. My ex paid me a visit at my buddy's place. He didn't let her enter, bless him. She kept shouting and crying and making a fool outside his door. I recorded the whole thing. Might be fun to watch later on, when everything is settled and I've moved on. The state I'm in allows for paternity contesting up to 4 years since the birth certificate was signed. So my lawyer has informed me that we could contest the paternity of the younger child. He's pretty hopeful. At this stage, avoiding child support for at least 1 kid is good enough for me. So that's it so far, and thanks everybody for all the advice and input. They've helped me tremendously. I'm still utterly broken, but I hope to heal one day at a time going forward. What a clusterfuck, OP. Do surround yourself with a strong support network of friends and professionals who can provide guidance and emotional support, OP. If possible, find a way to contest paternity for the older child too. Maybe this could be a special circumstance. It's good you've detangled yourself from your wife and kids. Focus on what's best for your long-term happiness and healing. Give yourself permission to grieve the loss of the family life you had envisioned. And remember that healing takes time. I wish you all the best. Story 2. My wife, 44 years old, is my first and only love. We've been together 25 years and married for 19. We have 2 incredible children, 11 and 13 years old. I'm a highly educated, financially successful 44-year-old male. I'm fit, social, secure, and able to retire. Unfortunately, my career success came with working 80-plus hours weeks and extensive travel away from my home over the past 20 years. This clearly contributed to reasons for the affair. Since D-Day, 10 weeks, I'm devastated personally and depressed for the first time in my life. I still cry every day and can't focus on work. I'm neglecting my companies. In the past, I never discussed my feelings with anyone. However, I've joined a men's support group, which has been excellent. I'm reading about this topic extensively and have a few close friends that I can lean on. I'm hitting the gym. We also began marriage counseling. My WW has fearful avoidant attachment and, to my dismay, admires the level of independent traits of a dismissive avoidant. Her love language is quality time, acts of service, and words of affirmation. I failed to provide her with those 3 things, but the AP did. The AP is a Spanish-speaking employee of ours. He worked closely with WW for a year before it became a full EA. Early in the EA, I discovered that WW had a deep friendship with the AP, a recently married employee that gave her adventure, etc. AP and I are opposites, and I forced her to draw a new line that was strictly professional. I was naive. After her attempt to reset or break up with the AP, I recently learned the EA restarted about a month later and did progress into a physical affair over the next 5 months. She had an STI scare that led to them fighting and breaking up. She slowly withdrew from him, trying to end the EA relationship, but keep it as only professional. After about 18 total months, the EA was fully over her in late 2021. I don't believe that she ever wanted to leave me, she just wanted the extra excitement, and it became an unwanted attraction for her. I began discovering the details in June 2022. Since then, I terminated the AP's employment and believe that WW now has zero contact. I want to reconcile with my wife and already have at a superficial level so that the household is calm and increasingly affectionate. We are more lovingly intimate recently than we have been in many years. However, it seems fake because of the continual denial or lying about the events. I've always relied on trust as the foundation of a healthy relationship. In business and other areas of my life, I have zero tolerance for people that I can't trust. I understand that people make mistakes. I could have been a better husband and recently wrote her a long apology letter to have a clean slate. Of course, she has not apologized to me because she claims innocence and remains with the position that I need to work on myself. I have the ability to forgive what happens in the past. However, I struggle with the ongoing secret and lying. I'm convinced that she knows she made a mistake and wants to be with me. However, she has too much shame and a desire to protect herself to admit what happened. She likely justifies it to herself because she ended the affair and has done a bunch of deep self-therapy where she feels that she is mentally healthy now. To me, it seems she will be lying about this to me for the rest of our lives. After continually stonewalling the conversation about the affair and evidence that I've uncovered, she adamantly told me at 7 weeks D-Day that she will never talk about the past again. For the first time in my life, I literally screamed through the phone. It was devastating to hear because learning about what happened is key for my recovery. I'm having difficulty giving up the investigation and continuing to learn about the affair, which helps me understand it better, mostly to protect myself in the future. Since then, I stopped asking her questions, which makes me bitter. But I am building a superficially happy relationship with her again. Due to this building resentment, I'm beginning to have strong desires to revenge cheat. For now, I'm channeling this energy back into my relationship with WW and setting up dates and weekend getaways. Logically, I know it's important for me to remain faithful, and I'm sure that I will. Is there any hope that we'll be happy for the long term without WW confessing and showing remorse? Any encouragement or advice is welcome. Update. Now is 16 weeks D-Day. I took your advice. I changed my strategy and did a 180 with an attorney. Her final confession at 14 weeks revealed more lies at today's discovery session, week 16. Getting to a confession took threats of divorce, intensive MC, and an emotional outburst where I was calling the AP's wife in front of her. The result? My STBXW admitted to having sex 2 to 3 times per week with our employee, a full-time handyman, for 15 months starting from February 2021 to May 2022. Supposedly, this was almost all in the backseat of her SUV. She didn't end it with him until after my initial D-Day of finding our notebook, which was only 1 day away before I took her and our family on a $25,000 trip to Paris. She broke up with AP after Paris because I discovered her notebook. She said it was winding down anyway and happy it is over. She had tried to end it since it began but didn't have the courage. It wasn't happy or healthy for her, but she was strangely stuck in needing his emotional approval. It was obvious from the notebook that her affair was a tumultuous one for 2 years. Initially, she had a 2-year emotional affair beginning February 2019 before the 15-month sexual affair began. I don't understand her relationship with AP at all. She claims limerence and was clear that contemplated breaking up with him for most of the 15 months. It was a constant drama. However, I was totally oblivious. She was having sex with me as well. We led a normal married life of sex 1 to 3 times per week, dates and vacations. She had lived 2 lives. I think about it like she chose a second husband but just never told me. She claims no other affairs. She wants to reconcile, of course. Upon confession, I immediately called and met with the AP's wife. Based on the advice received here on Reddit, the AP's wife is devastated but so happy to know. She's planning to divorce and fight his immigration process. I'm supporting her financially, including for her to have counseling. STBXW is an excellent liar that had passed a polygraph. I'd warn anyone that is thinking about using a polygraph as a truth tool that it can easily backfire if she's a good liar. She had used that against me during the 14 weeks of her denial. Now that I know and the lack of true remorse during the 16 weeks, I'm ready to divorce. She's extremely sorry now and wants us to stay together. We're signed up for an affair recovery course. I'll use this to try to heal and forgive as we have two incredible children to raise together. She really is incapable of loving the way that I loved her. I had some childhood trauma and maybe some type of disorder. Tonight, I got a beach condo to separate for the first time in our 20 plus years. During the daytime, we were raising our kids and acting normal. It'll take time to separate our lives and get a divorce because we're financially complicated. I really don't know how to be alone yet. I'm truly broken without having my best friend any longer. Upon learning the truth today through a 3-hour MC session, it is really strange how good I feel considering this mess. I'm looking forward to the next chapter of my life. I couldn't have this positive feeling if I was considering to R. Our kids have started counseling us where. The AP spent significant time at our house and knows our children well, gave them many gifts. We're all no contact, and I'm trying to remove triggers from his presence in our lives. Thank you to this community for your support. I appreciate any advice or encouragement. It's devastating to hear the truth, but it's a relief that you finally know the reality of the situation. The frequency of her encounters with him over 15 months suggests a lack of commitment to ending the affair and raises serious questions about her empathy and morality. You deserve someone who respects and values you, and with your qualities, finding someone better is entirely within reach. Meanwhile, she may struggle to find someone who matches your caliber. Good luck.